Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and it is Wednesday in the Riv after a council meeting, and boy, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, CJ.
Oh yeah, we do, and it's very interesting what happened last night. It was pointing the finger. It was, somebody else's problem. It's other cities and towns' problem. They're not doing their fair share. I mean, uh, and it came out that we've always known that Fall River does more than its fair share, and the people who are coming to Fall River are actually being told to come here from their own communities. It was actually reported by City Councilor Linda Pereira that she was told or she saw a Somerset police cruiser deliver to our shelters a homeless person. So it makes no sense the way this is working out for Fall River. I'm telling you now. We're sucking up everything. And that's not fair to Fall River, which we've been saying for years. So, but everyone's told from Taunton to Springfield that go to Fall River, they got better social services. And so that's why they all come here. And we've been saying that even about Star, because Star keeps bringing more people here and they end up staying because they have more social services and some of them stay here homeless. So it makes for an interesting time.
Well, that's the con they're trying to run on everybody, and it's only partially true because what they're not saying, and Joe Camara and Linda Pereira both know it because they were around. This is not a new problem. The new problem is Paul Coogan building market rate housing and making people homeless. We're not talking about people coming here for services. They've been doing that at Star for years. We know, and we've gone over on this show numerous times, that we are the only facility that has a lockup. So they send them from all over the state here. But what has the state reps and what has this city done to say share the wealth? And we've said it numerous times. Why don't other communities have the same facilities? No, they send everybody to Fall River. Don't use this con. The homeless people that we're seeing now are Fall River people with jobs. Fall River people with jobs who can't afford their rents because Paul Coogan never stops building market rate housing and they don't build enough. And let's get down to the bottom line. Because you know it, Linda, and you know it, Joe, you phonies. This all started because of you, the politicians. Because this started in the 80s when the mayor of the city of Fall River, Carlton Viveris, made his brother the head of the housing authority. And then they put in his contract, the more people we had in the housing authority, the bigger bonuses he got. And they had ads to come to Fall River's public housing in Connecticut
And New Jersey.
and New Jersey and everywhere else in the Northeast. So don't give me that bullshit. I'm sick of listening to your bullshit. You people started this taking care of your friends. That's what you did. You started bringing them here, and for the record, you nitwits, public housing is not affordable housing. We're doing more than our share because you people gave the housing authority director a bigger pay raise if he did it. So let's put the blame squarely where it belongs. You, just like now you're ignoring the homeless in this city, and now you want to pass a resolution about panhandling. You want them to disappear till after the election because there's no plan. There's no plan to help the drug addicted. There's no plan to help the working people who can't afford their homes. And if you think I'm pissed off, I am. Back to you, CJ.
Well, what's very interesting is last night, they talked about the homeless and about how how they were clearing out some of the encampments. And one of the people who works on this project says that when they clear the encampments, they go somewhere else, and then they can't find them. And posting no trespassing signs mean that everybody gets arrested. So that's not viable. And according to Mike Dion, he's dumping money into homelessness and into shelters. And they said Catholic Social Services. Well, I can tell you now, I know for an absolute 100% fact, and I've even complained to Mike Dion about this. Catholic Social Services does nothing for anyone. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They come up with excuses every single time where they can't do anything for someone. And that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all. But they do it every time. And it's not even their money. It's our money. It's our CDA money. And I don't believe that they're doing anything at all to benefit the community. Catholic Social Services is just on the gravy train like everyone else. So it's got to be somebody who's very close to Mike Dion, or somebody who's very close to Paul Coogan, whoever, or maybe multiple administrations. But it's not acceptable, and it keeps going on. I know I've referred people down to Catholic Social Services several times for rental assistance, for eviction issues, and you know what they're always told? We're out of money, we can't help you. Or they're told, you make too much money, we can't help you. Or they're told, we have no programs for you at all. It's always the same line of bull. And it's never, ever, ever going to change as long as we have an agency like Catholic Social Services that does not want to help people, or appears to not want to help people running this program. That's my opinion. And I'm bullshit about that too. So let me tell you, it just keeps getting worse and worse. And that's the truth.
Well, CJ, listen. You're right about Catholic Social Services, but let's get back to who's to blame. It's not it's not Catholic Social Services problem to fix the homeless problem in Fall River. It's the mayor and the city council. And all we've heard for years, that's why we need the clean house. Except for Michelle Dion, everybody should go. Everybody should go. Because let me tell you something. It's not their problem. All we've heard for decades in Fall River, it's not our fault. Everybody picks on Fall River. They're all lying about the crime stats. They're sending people to us. They're doing this. They're doing that. Well, what the hell are we doing about it? You're gonna complain at the council meeting? What have you done? Have you reached out to those communities and said, stop it? Have our state reps tried to get drug facilities in other parts of this state that can take the people that have to be locked down? No, they haven't done a damn thing except collect their paychecks and give their friends jobs. That's all they do. And then they blame everybody else. They're like that little Mikey didn't do it. I didn't do it. Well, Johnny stole a cookie too. They're a bunch of phonies. They've done nothing. This city has gone backwards for decades because all they do in there is pass the buck. You're talking about Catholic Social Services not doing their job. It's not their damn job. They're not the mayor of the city of Fall River. They're not the city council. They're making a few bucks from the city and they're going to take it and they're doing nothing. Just like Star. Oh, all of a sudden everybody's complaining about Star? Well, what have you done about it? I haven't heard one of our state reps go to Boston and say, screw you, we're not taking any more people in Fall River that need to be locked down. Build some facilities. Build one in Newton. See how far that goes. Build one in Brookline. Let Jakey Auchincloss go over there and talk to them and pretend he cares. This is all bullshit, rhetoric. They do nothing. And they've been there for 20 years. And nothing's been done about any of these problems. Public housing. We have a disproportionate amount of public housing because it started in the 1980s when we wanted more than everybody else because somebody's brother was getting paid. That's why we've got what we got. We asked for it. Just like we asked for Star to expand. So don't give me this crap. You want something done? Your politicians, your representatives are supposed to be doing something, not blaming everybody else. Get off your lazy asses and do something.
Well, I wonder what you think there. It's definitely very interesting. I'll tell you now, it just does. It just doesn't make any sense. And then to add insult to injury on top of the homeless situation, who do they have speak to the city council? Okay, Alan Macomba. Macomba. And all they wanted him to do was talk about the Bank Street Armory and tell the city council, if you don't accept my bid, then what's going to happen is the Bank Street Armory is going to become the police station. I've done all the work. I've had to put the money out of my pocket. It's time for a decision. You know what? I would have turned around and said, okay, we'll have a vote right now. No, end of story. Don't put the city council in a position like the mayor does. Always puts their back against the wall. Does not give them an option. John Brandt yesterday was there to speak about the position that he takes as the CPA chair. Not the CPA board, but what he takes as a CPA chair. And he says that they were willing to float a $5 to $7 million bond for the Bank Street Armory until they could not get a guarantee on building maintenance, because he's notoriously aware of the history of Fall River for maintaining public buildings. As you and I, Chip, know, they don't do that. They don't maintain public buildings. Just look at the old Durfee that they had to take down. A building that should have lasted 50, 60 years, lasted, 40? It's time for people to understand. Saving a building is not converting it to apartments, okay? Saving the exterior of the building is not the same as saving the building. Saving the building is something totally different. And when you just turn around and make it simple to deceive the people of Fall River on issues, it's not acceptable. Okay? You cannot say for a moment that we're going to save the exterior of the building and that's saving a historic building. No, it's not. It's not. Saving a historic building is saving the interior, the guts, the bones. What makes that building? What makes that building is what makes it happen. But again, nobody wants to hear that. So,
and you're right, CJ.
What?
And I said, and you're right, CJ. Listen, I think John Brandt went before the council and he said something that is extremely telling when he said this city cannot never maintain its buildings. I'll tell you what the city has always done: pay the people who are getting big money to run their maintenance departments and everybody who works in those maintenance departments. But there's never been any maintenance done. We saw the old Durfee in disrepair, yet look at their maintenance budget. How much is Kenny Pacheco making to oversee these things? They keep paying maintenance. There's actually a city ordinance. There's actually a city ordinance that says, which is ironic because the school department has their own, like they always do, to pay even more people. We have two people doing the same job. There's a city ordinance that says, at the time, I believe the ordinance originally said the Department of Public Works. Now it's DCM, Department of Community Maintenance, is responsible for the maintenance of all city buildings. Period. That's it. They are responsible for the maintenance. Yet every single building, virtually, or 98% of every building they ever sold, is in disrepair, and that's their reason they're selling it. Oh, we have to get a new Durfee because this one's falling apart. Well, why is it falling apart? You couldn't fix it? Do you and I get to not put a roof on and just let it leak and destroy your house? No, then you got no home and you can't sell it and you'll be homeless. We don't get to do what the city does, take our tax money and do nothing with it. That's beneficial to us. We've had a maintenance department in its community as long as we've had a community. If somebody told me once where we've maintained the building, we never maintain them, ever. Because they just sell them off, just say, there's nothing we can do, and they kick them, these buildings are gone. They got money twice for the roofs. John Brandt was 100% right when he went before that council. And today, in 2023, this city will not go on record as guaranteeing they will maintain a building. What's wrong with that? That's a serious problem. Because let's everybody go back into the budget. All you counselors that sit on your thumbs all the time and throw money to all your friends. Let's go out and see what the salaries of all the people who are dedicated to maintain the buildings in the school department in the city are making. See how many hundreds of millions of dollars in pay and benefits we've been wasting all these years. And there's not a building to be had that's maintained. We had a whole building inside a building that they forgot about. Do you remember that one, CJ? Oh, Christ, we bought this space building. It's laying in a building. It's no good anymore.
I know.
So it's like, it's no good anymore. So, I mean, this is what we got. These are the people that have been in for 20 years, people. Get their asses out of there. They do nothing. And there's never accountability. Who forgot the building? How can you forget a building? Take it away, CJ. I mean, this is, last night's meeting really triggered me. I'm sorry, because I'm so sick of this. I've been watching this for so long. And that's one of the benefits, though. It's a pain that I had to watch it for this long. But you see, we remember history. We know how we got here. We're not buying their bull. Because we know why we got more public housing than everybody else. We got it because they asked for it. They advertised for it. We've got more people at Star because they won't force the state to have other communities share the negative wealth when you have to deal with the drug addicts. Newtonians and Cape Codders send them all to Fall River because we're the only facility that can house them. We created this. We've had state reps in Boston, but what are the state reps doing? Coming up with HDIP programs to help the rich people, coming up with ways to fund their projects like the MBTA, change the law so they have total autonomy over the development of an area within a city, which has been being fought in court by 3 or 4 different communities, but not Fall River. But listen, this is just another example of what the story is. Just go back, see how much we're paying for nothing. And if this doesn't get you up to go vote in that primary less than a week away and send a message, I don't know what the hell will. Back to you, CJ.
It's interesting if you've been reading some of the comments that have been coming up. It shows that everyone is starting to get fed up. We have a couple of viewers which are saying that we've been disrespected, and and we have been. And you're right, Chip. This happened in the 80s with Viveris on the housing authority, and he kept bringing more and more people to Fall River. But that hasn't stopped. Now it's not just for housing. Now it's for drug addiction. Now it's for alcoholism. They bring them here to Fall River because Fall River has more services because we created that whole service. Because remember, if you build it, they will come. And that's what we did. We built the system, and now they're coming here. And now the same city councilors who built that system are complaining about it. And that HDIP program, Alan Sylvia, Carol Fiola, Paul Schmidt, listen to this. That HDIP program only benefits the rich. That program was supposed to create more affordable housing, more housing for the everyday person. And it created nothing. Created nothing. It created more housing for the rich and increased homelessness. Here's your big mistake. And the governor's another one. Maura Healey, you're a douchebag. Okay? A major douchebag because you're spending more money on the HDIP program and it's not building more housing for the regular people. It's building more housing for the rich. The poor and undeserving don't count, it appears to you. And that's got to stop. Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, same thing to you. It's got to stop. You people are supposed to be representing the people. You're not representing anyone but yourselves and your political friends, your developers, your rich banker friends, your realtors. And you're allowing this HDIP program to take advantage of cities like Fall River that are suffering the most from homelessness. And you're doing nothing to solve that problem.
Well, CJ, listen. They've been running this con for years, and people just don't. But you know what? Really, in case you haven't realized, I'm a little wired today. This is a subject that really upsets me because I've seen not only its history, but then I see that the how if you're gonna listen, if you're gonna urinate on my head, at least extend me the courtesy of not trying to convince me it's raining. So this is what they do. That push card that Paul sent out. The mayor with a heart. Heart. What kind of heart do you got? You're building what? 8 zillion more units to push more people out, driving people out, and then you say things like, yeah, shut up, you live in public housing. You don't have a right to speak. You don't own a home. Shut up. You don't like it. Leave town. Oh, and then you try to hide. Tried to hide the homeless. The mayor with the heart. Listen, I'm reminded of this every single day. I told you about the people I see at Bristol Community College. They're living in the parking lot, and they've got a child, a young child, and there are others. But I see those people every day. I see the car. I see the child playing on a blacktop with toys. These people work, but they can't get an apartment. And there are hundreds of them already. And they're not drug addicted. That's another problem, obviously a serious problem. But you have a heart, Paul? Aren't you the guy that jumped out of his car and yelled at some woman that was collecting money for a dance studio, yelling, "Where's your permit?" That's an allegation I heard. Aren't you the one that walked up to somebody and said, take that Sutter sign off because your landlord doesn't want it there because you happen to know the landlord? That's another allegation against you. That's bad Paul, not the good Paul, not the Paul mayor with the heart, not the phony Paul, the real Paul, the guy that says go jump in the Taunton River. You don't like it, beat it. Taking care of your friends. And that's all you do. So it's this is just more bullshit that you got to listen to, and just look at their record. I don't want to hear these platitudes. Let them bring it. Let them call DoorDash or some crap like this. Or let's do that. Everybody's got a quick fix. It took us 40 years to get here. And 40 years of nothing. Doing nothing except passing the buck and making excuses. Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. Do something. And you can whine all you want about, well, that is nothing you can do. There is something you can do. I sued this city in 91 on their health care. Proved they stole millions of odd dollars and said they didn't have any money. And they had to give us 3 free months of Blue Cross and an $18 premium reduction for the rest of the year. You know why? Because I took them to court and I did a forensic audit.
Oh, you swore.
That's right. And what did we do in 14? We ran a recall, the first successful recall. So we're not keyboard warriors that like to talk about their experience when they have none. We've gotten the job done, and we're continuing to fight for the people, and that's the way it should be. And because this is nuts. I mean, this is nuts. These are not. Let's put this right where it really is. We have working people, people trying to survive, being pushed into homelessness. It's bad enough when you have a high percentage of people who have serious drug problems, and what are we doing about it? Nothing. But then again, hey, what the hell? We have a guy this is a blue city, and we know what happened in San Francisco. They ruined it. People defecating and urinating all over the streets of San Francisco. Probably, arguably, in many people's opinion, the most beautiful city in the United States, turned into it's just disgusting. Yet Nancy Pelosi, to show how out of touch these Richies are, she was on there saying, my San Francisco, my beautiful city. Yeah, your beautiful gated community where you live in, far away from the Tenderloin district and stuff, and I know you're familiar with that, CJ.
Yes,
but
I am.
These people ignore reality, or they try to hide it, or they try to either explain it away, or they try to deny it and blame it on somebody else. Nothing's been done. Show me something that's been done about sharing the wealth, treating the drug population by our state representatives and by our council. Nothing. Show me something that's being done about getting people who are working and getting a paycheck an affordable place to live. And before I finish this, and you can close it out, again, for the 17th millionth time, Paulie, Joey, Linda, you can't tell me you're so dumb that you don't know the difference between public housing, workforce housing, and affordable housing, because they are three distinct, different things. And you like to mix them all in the same vat to try to use it to con the people, okay? And remember, we do have more public housing than most communities in Massachusetts, but it is your fault, not ours. Okay, CJ, close it out.
Well, we're right at the end of our show, so I want to thank you all for watching. I put up as many comments as I could, even though we may not have agreed with some. We always allow you to say your piece and back it up. Just like anyone's always welcome to get a hold of us and say, look, I want to dispute what you said. I want to talk on your show. We always are willing to have a great debate and have you on our show. So don't think for a moment that it doesn't work. Okay? And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Friday.